Check this out. Look at the luxury. We are in a lot of trouble. I think it needs a bit of... Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah. Whoa, that's a lot of money. I'm now going to sit down with Andrew and probably on the Magnitude Finance calculator and pick out maybe 3 or 4 cars to actually go out and test drive. Hello one and all, welcome to Seeing Through Glass. Welcome back to Alexander's Prestige. This is part 2 of kind of shopping for an SUV or a potential replacement for my BMW X3 M40i. If you missed part 1, it was my last video, so go back and check it out now. I had to end that video short. Short is definitely an understatement because it was an incredibly long video, so I decided to test drive 4 cars, which you can now see parked up behind me. Now, if you saw part 1, there's probably only one of these cars which you're surprised has made the lineup, the test drive lineup, and it's the Macan, but more on that when we get to it. So let's just run through what is here. Definitely you won't be surprised that I've included this, because yes, this stunningly spec'd Range Rover Sport SDV8. Well, I just knew I wanted to have a go in it. The minute I saw it online, let alone in the showroom, I was like, it's the dream. It's the same spec as the F-Type R that Jaguar very kindly lent me. I would get rid of those black wheels immediately, definitely recolorize those into silver, but the thing is super cool. So yeah, big hunking V8 diesel. This is the most affordable car here. I think it's 57 grand in terms of list price. According to the Magnitude Finance online calculator, it's going to come out at just under 700 quid a month, so 650, 670 a month, something like that. Moving on, GLC 63S first edition, one of the most expensive cars here. We're talking about 77 grand, and in terms of monthly payment, again, I think we're looking at just over a grand. So this is basically double the money of the X3, but double the car. I mean, it's an AMG, it's a first edition AMG. Look at that grille. I'm really intrigued. I've never driven one of these. Super intrigued and excited to check that thing out. Then we come on to a Macan. As I say, the surprise of this lineup, because I wasn't very nice about them when I was walking around looking at all the stock available here at Alexander's. I was like, oh, Macans have never really done it for me. But based on previous experience, when I've ever talked about SUVs on the podcast or done videos about them, everyone says in the comment section, you gotta check out a Macan. Macan does everything. Macan is the ultimate solution. So I actually asked Andrew which would he pick of the Macans he had in stock, and he said check out this turbo. So yeah, 3.6 litre, it's the old generation twin turbo car, very highly spec'd. So I'm not that excited, but who knows, maybe on a day like today I'm going to jump in it and go, yeah, cool thing. And this car arguably represents the best value for money. I think list price is around 64 grand, but the price per month rivals the Range Rover. So I think price per month is probably around 700 or just over 700 odd. So that's a lot of car for theoretically not a lot of money. Speaking about a lot of car for quite a lot of money though, we move on to the Defender. Yes, I have knocked it on so many occasions, but I can't help myself including this in the test drive because I keep coming back to it, keep trying to find ways to convince myself that I could live with the impracticality and the flaws, because just look at this thing. Now this particular car is sold, actually I think relatively expensive, the same price as the GLC, but this is a brand new car, only 600 odd miles done to it. It is the 3 litre diesel, so the D250, in a very nice spec. It's obviously the 90, so the shorter wheelbase, the 3-door version, but yeah, got some lovely urban wheels and just some bits on it that's nice. So I'm going to just keep going. I'm just going to keep going until I just finally have to discount this car, which I hope never happens. Yeah, anyway, I'm very intrigued and very excited. So we're going to start off, I think, start off with the Range Rover. Oh, it's nice in here. Oh, it's very nice in here. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that to properly test an SUV, probably spend a few days with a car. Unfortunately, I don't have a few days. Alexander's has been very kind to allow me to take all 4 cars on the road. It's going to be sort of short test drives, but I have basically driven all 4 cars before. Okay, fine, not the GLC, but I've driven plenty of 63 AMGs, so I kind of feel like I know what I'm gonna get. It's more just a chance to kind of talk through these options, discuss them, and sort of, you know, either be refreshed to what they're like or to experience them in some shape or form. So yes, first up, this Range Rover Sport SD V8. want to stay quiet there for a bit because it does have a bit of a rumble, this car. Okay, fine, it's a diesel. It's not the fully fledged SVR. It does still sound good. Anyway, let's crack on. Let me talk you through why I've never really considered these cars. Whilst I bang on about the fact that it's sort of near on perfect in many ways, my dad's had 3 of them. So in my head, it's my dad's car. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is my dad's car. So it sort of seems a bit odd for me to then also have one for some reason in my head, which is maybe a silly thing to think. I've misjudged my exit from the Alexander's forecourt, so I've got to wait a bit of time there. There we go. Now we can pull out. It's got a proper rumble to it. Now this pan roof is open, so how do we close that? There we go. Very nicely equipped, this car. It's an autobiography spec, which is pretty much the top that you can get. So it's fully kitted out, and then this leather is just lovely. 28,000 miles on the clock, so it's used, but that's what you would expect from a Range Rover because they're just so usable. And the thing is, whilst we might lose some performance, it's made up for with the luxury side of things. Sometimes it can be a little bit sort of lurchy in the corners. I remember, I'm speaking as a passenger here because I spent so many times passengering in these cars that, yeah, if you're in the back, sometimes it can be a bit but as a driver, they're so nice, and usually they employ you to just waft along. Yes, very nice. But would I kind of be in the same situation as I'm in with the X3? Whilst this is very well equipped, I think the BMW tech is slightly better than this era JLR tech. And as great as Range Rovers are, they do go a little under radar these days. When you've got things like GLCs and SQ5s and X3 competitions, etc., these cars are a little bit nondescript, which can be a good big plus point. But for me, looking for a car with a bit more character and personality that I'll gel with, maybe it's not going to really be that. Anyway, we're now onto the bigger, windier road, so flicked into the sporty setting of the gearbox, and yeah, it really rumbles. We've got a little Polo, looks like he's out for a driving lesson, so try and be a bit cautious, but it gives me a good chance to test the torque of this engine, do an overtake. Here we go. Okay, plenty of pull, but nothing like my X3. It's very nice in here. I would love to rent one of these for a week or so on a trip around the Lake District or something, you know what I mean? Just come up and potter around and have a nice time, and it's stylish, and yeah. Okay, so very quickly discounted, which is a shame. The most affordable one here. Beautiful, lovely, but not doing anything better than my X3 already does, apart from look better. Well, by magic, we're in the Defender, yep, just like that. Oh, it's so good, it's so good. I'm trying not to get carried away. Now, I may have knocked and, discounted that Range Rover Sport a bit too quickly. It is stunning. When I got out of it to change over the cars, I'm like, oh, it's a beautiful spec, but I think it's a bit too familiar for me. Very nice on the day-to-day level, but a bit too familiar. It doesn't excite me enough. Meanwhile, this thing, okay, oh my God. Dynamically not that exciting. Nearly rolled it going through a corner at 30 miles an hour. But everything else about this car does still just turn me on. Sorry if that's too much information. It's such a status symbol, this thing, because, as I've mentioned a million times over, you can't fit that much in the back of a 90. The doors are heavy. You've got to run and leap to get in the whole thing. And there's other things that I won't quite go into. If you want to find out more about my thoughts on the Defender 90, go check out the time I took it down to Cornwall. But it does the same job that a G-Wagon does, a Urus, a DBX, and it costs half the price, if not a third of the price of those cars. It gives you kind of status on the road. People say, cool, and you sit, so I feel like I'm sitting on the Empire State Building as I just, roll along the road. There's something about that which is just so attractive. And the G-Wagon is the exact same thing. It's not that good, the G-Wagon, and all the Merc fans will tell you, oh, it's so much better than the last generation. Still not good, it's just better than the last one. And I'm coming at this car, comparing it against the X3, not right. As its own entity, as a thing, the Defender is very good and very capable. It is an off-road machine, which I'm trying to use on the road and going, oh, well, you know, wallows around a bit. But you need that suspension travel, you need that height to clear big rocks, things like that on your farm. I don't have a farm. So I am the ultimate cliche with wanting one of these cars, because I'm pretty much only going to drive it around central London. So yeah, dick. I would have to have this alongside the X3, because if I wanted to do a big trip like I do, if I need to have Vicky and the dog and friends or whatever other future family members might be joining us soon. No, I'm not revealing anything, by the way. There's no babies coming, but I did just get married, so at some point surely that's going to happen. A Defender 90, you've got these huge heavy doors, you can't really access the back seats that easily. I don't think Vicky can really get in here without a step ladder. So, you know, all of these reasons, not really an option. But there's a huge part of me that wants to be selfish and wants to live my best life and just get one anyway. Yeah, silly, I shouldn't have driven this, because now I'm like, yep, this is the route to go when I know it's not. My heart tells me yes, my brain tells me no, so let's get out of this thing. Let's get back to Alexander's and go check out something else, because this is a dangerous car to be driving for me right now. Right then, back at Alexander's, ready for test drive number 3. Maybe the one I'm least excited about? It's the Macan Turbo. And I sound very spoilt to say that I'm least excited about this. What a car this is. But as big as a Porsche fan as I am, the Macans have always just sort of left me feeling a bit cold. Anyway, chance to give it another chance, give it another go. One thing which we do know about all Porsche products, and especially, oh, that's a very aggressive parking sensor, isn't it? Shh, calm. Oh my God, it's like, oh, what is going on? You've got to hit something. How do I? Wow. Onwards. I've stuck a GoPro on the front of the car, so clearly the Macan did not like that. Anyway, we continue. So yes, I mean, the thing is, like all Porsches, Macans do everything and do everything fantastically, which is what I'm looking for. You know, I've mentioned that the Range Rover Sport wasn't as quick or as dynamic as the X3, and then the Defender was silly in terms of its practicality. And I keep, you know, celebrating how fantastic the X3 is in every area. Well, that's the same with Macans. But, Macan feels like too obvious a choice. So that's the thing to say, because they're really expensive cars. And it's a Porsche, so it's not like it's the everyman's SUV. You do see a lot of them out there, and they've been around for a while, and I'm just like, well, I think maybe the GTS would be the one that I would consider over the Turbo. This is a very highly spec'd car, and one that Andrew said is worth checking out, which I get. It is a good place to be, with lots of usable functionality. It's got the space. You sit nice and low, so you don't feel like you're in a big SUV. It feels more like a sort of crossover, or even could be a saloon or Panamera. And then being the Turbo, you know it's going to absolutely destroy sort of motorway journeys and things like that. So once we get out of the village, we will start to play around with the speed, even though it's not really something I'm looking for from these cars. Yes, I like how fast the X3 is. Yes, I like the way it sounds. Most of the time I'm just pottering around like this. And I have to say, this car is so incredibly stable in comparison to the Range Rover and the Defender that were kind of lurching around all over the place, feeling heavy. This is, yeah, way more dynamic. So let me remind myself, there we go, Sport Plus, things warm. Porsche won't let you do much until things are warm. Down into the gears, and oh, that sounds nice. Oh, that sounds much nicer than I remember. 3.6 litre twin turbo V6. And yeah, hey, it's not a 911 turbo, you know, the speed isn't absolutely, oh, it sounds lovely. Oh, it sounds really lovely. Yes, the balance and the feel and the feedback is just so Porsche and so enjoyable. It's, oh, look at, oh my God, what was that? I just threw it into a corner and it stuck and it went. Oh my God, yes, okay, bloody hell, it's good. And if I sound frustrated by that, it's because I am. I don't want it to be as good as it is. Oh my God, you just throw this thing around corners like it is a sports car. And that sound is great. I still don't like all of this. Too many buttons going on, but that sound is brilliant. good visibility, again, good size, not too big. Oh, bloody hell, it's nice. Oh, I didn't see this coming. The test drive I was least excited about. I'm like, oh, it's actually very good. And as I mentioned in the showroom, great value. Really good value, these cars. Oh, poo. No, I can't get a Macan, can I? That's a bit too car. You know, I can't be, oh, Macan. It's good though. But, as good as it is, I think I would do the same thing of not getting that excited walking up to it, because I've never really liked the way they look. So unless I find like an absolute dream spec, I think I'm going to be in the exact same boat, having a car that is fantastic, but I just don't love and adore. I think that's exactly what the Macan would be for me. So I'd just be going sideways. It would be a sideways move from one bucket to another. Very nice bucket though. So, fourth and final test drive. Welcome to a Mercedes GLC 63S. Now, eagle-eyed viewers will have noticed this already, but this is not the GLC, the first edition that we were filming in the showroom, because whilst I was test driving the Defender or the Range Rover, a customer called up and said they want to come and test drive that car this afternoon. So rather than me get it all filthy and put it at risk, they're going to keep it in the showroom, nice and safe and secure, ready for that customer to look over. But this being Alexander's, of course, they've got another one knocking around, and it's this one. Now, this is a brand new car. We've got the latest tech and screens and buttons and dials and things like that, which means that this car is way beyond my price bracket. I think I actually even don't know how much this particular car is, but I can just tell you it's going to be too expensive. It's also delivery mileage. That is a shame because, well, I wanted to kind of, you know, experience the dynamic side of this car. Can't really do that. But I said I wanted to drive it anyway because, well, I'm going to whisper it once I can find out how to start this car up. It's the test drive I've been most excited about. Yeah. Oh, that's kind of why. When I say delivery mileage, by the way, I've just noticed 72 miles on the clock. Yeah, we're going to be very careful, but it is lovely in here. And yeah, as I walked around the Alexander's showroom in episode 1 of this sort of SUV mini-series, it was all the Mercs that were catching my eye. I'm not the biggest Merc fan, but just kept going, oh, that looks cool, oh, that looks nice. Oh, with this rumble, this big 4.4 litre bi-turbo V8 rumble, it's iconic, well now modern iconic AMG engine. It's not the same as the big old hunking naturally aspirated one, but it's a good old engine, and yeah, this is an exciting prospect, I tell you that, my God. Now what I'm going to be interested by is what's this car like this, you know, the sort of benefits of this being a delivery mileage car and the fact we can't really push it that hard, as I get to see what this car's like on an everyday basis, just pootling around. Because whilst I sort of lambasted the Range Rover Sport and the Defender for then, you know, not being that dynamic, and then I was banging on about how the Macan was incredible through those corners, I don't really drive my daily, the X3, that fast most of the time. I'm just cruising on the motorway or around London or doing whatever, like, so I don't need all the speed all the time. I want the sound and I want it to feel good through the corners, and I need to know that if I need to step on it, it can perform. But most of the time I just want to be in comfort, because, you know, I'm very lucky that I get to drive some incredible but very stiff cars very regularly. So when I'm not in those stiff things, I want to be in something, yeah, smooth. This, I'm noticing straight away, does have a firmer ride. It's not like it's more brittle, I guess. You can just really feel the road underneath me a lot more. It's kind of vibrating through the base of my seat, but it's a very nice place to be in here. It's a little bit silly of me to step into this car because, yeah, I might as well go and drive the Urus. Be like, oh, I really like it, let's get that. Yeah, all this latest equipment, these screens, I just keep looking at how nice these screens are. Okay, let's slowly start to gather pace, keep the revs down, but gather pace and see what's going on. Oh, lots of stuff is sliding around the place. It is on the firmer side. I don't think Vicky's going to love that. She gets a little bit annoyed by sort of bumpy cars. A lot of road noise as well, but for me that excites me because it lets me know that I'm in something a bit more sporty, and it's got good brakes, I have to say. I'm trying to be as smooth as possible and respectful as possible. Alexander's were very kind to let me drive this, because they could have just said, oh sorry, GLC's not available anymore, pick something else, but they went, no, hey, we've got another one, give it a go, even though it's a brand new car. Oh, I wish I could have hey, excuse to come back, right? Yeah, that was 3,500 RPM, and I quite like this. Am I a Mercedes guy? Do you see that in me? I don't know if I see it in myself. I don't really know what to do. I can't really push on, and that's really what this car's all about, isn't it? It's probably not the best at cruising. It's very capable, but I think the part that I'd fall in love with is if I really stepped on the loud pedal, and I don't really feel like I could do that. So yeah, it's been interesting, but it's not insightful. Huge thanks to Alexander for letting me have a go, but I think let's zoom back to the dealership and summarise how these 4 test drives have gone. Alright, mate. Thank you for that.
How'd you get on?
my head's a mess. You know what I'm going to say disappointingly was the good surprise? The Macan. I know.
Predictable, isn't it? How predictable is it?
Literally, I said in the car, I was like, oh, it's so boring to be like, the Macan's really good. The Macan was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then also that black GLC, so thank you for that at the end, because it was the car that when I got out of, I looked back at the most.
Yeah.
It's got a mean presence, that car.
And the engine. It's all. Do you not think it's all about the engine?
It's rumbling away. It sounds beefy. Yeah. So the first 2 I sort of knew what I was. Basically, you've just ruined me. First 2 I knew I was going to get, but I walked away going, okay, I don't think we found the replacement, but I'm definitely more open to the idea of replacement.
Because I was thinking Defender may be cool, but maybe not practical enough. Macan maybe just a bit too obvious, but probably the best car. Merc's got the AMG V8 engine. I mean, what could you ask for on the Range Rover? Maybe when you've got the 2 little ones running around.
Well, there you go. The Range Rover basically does what I've done at the minute with the X3. It's a car that does everything, but maybe doesn't excite me that much.
Yeah.
So, like, they're all good. Maybe not good. I don't know. I mean, you're just trying to spend my money from me. Basically, is what
well, I think I might have some more plans for you anyway. So
I'll be back another time. Maybe it's a state special next time.
Sounds like an idea. You should have tried the Tomahawk.
Yeah.
Is it? No. Try
Trackhawk.
That's a steak, isn't it?
Someone's hungry. It's that time of day.
That's right.
No, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Great to see you. I will be back. We'll do. I don't know. It's going to have to continue, isn't it? Because I don't think either you or Tony are going to let me rest. So
no, we've got some ideas, don't you?
Catch up soon.
Okay. See you.
If I was a rich man, this is what would be replacing the X3, that V8 Urban Defender. What a beast. But yeah, a really fun experience. I'm super glad that I came up and did this and got behind the wheel of different cars. I don't think any of them were quite right, but all fantastic in their own way. So maybe the hunt continues. Maybe I need to change it up, look at some other things. Let me know your thoughts below. What would you replace the X3 as? Remember the amount of things, these sort of things it's got to tick on my list of achievables or pros, or anyway, I'm wabbling on. It's been a long video. So yeah, if you've enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and make sure you stay subscribed for plenty more videos to come.